That's not you going crazy. That's someone making you believe you are. There's a psychological tactic so quiet, so slow-moving that most people don't realize it's happening until years after the damage is done. I want to tell you something most gaslighting videos won't tell you. This isn't just something that happens between couples. It happens at work, in families, in doctors' offices, in entire systems designed to make you doubt what you know is true. By the time this video is over, you're going to recognize something, maybe something from your own life that you never had a name for before. And that name? That's where your power starts. Today we're talking about gaslighting. And before we get into it, one question. Not for you to answer out loud. Just to sit with. Has there ever been a person in your life who, after every conversation, left you feeling smaller? More confused? Less sure of yourself? If someone just came to mind, keep watching. What is gaslighting? The word gaslighting comes from a 1944 movie called Gaslight. In the film, a husband secretly dims the gas-powered lights in their home and then calmly tells his wife she's imagining it. That the lights are fine. That she's the problem. Night after night. Conversation after conversation. Until she stops trusting what her own eyes see. That's gaslighting. It's a form of psychological manipulation where someone consistently, deliberately makes you question your own reality. Your memory. Your perception. Your feelings. Your sanity. And the defining feature? It's not a one-time thing. It's a pattern. It's drip, drip, drip until one day you realize you haven't trusted yourself in months. Types of gaslighting. Before I break these down, I want to tell you about a pattern that therapists who work with abuse survivors describe constantly. A woman in her mid-30s walks into a therapist's office convinced she's losing her mind. She'd forget things, she said. She'd misremember conversations. She'd overreact to tiny things. It took months before the therapist realized the woman wasn't forgetting anything. Her husband was telling her she had forgotten. Consistently. Calmly. For years. By the time she walked into that office, she didn't trust a single one of her own memories. That's what years of gaslighting does. And it almost always starts with one of these 7 patterns. Type 1, flat-out denial. This is the most direct form. Something happens. You bring it up. And the other person just refuses it. I never said that. That didn't happen. You're making things up again. And they say it with complete confidence. Not a flicker of doubt. Here's why it works. When someone denies your reality with that kind of certainty, your brain starts running a background check on itself. Am I wrong? Did I misremember? You're not wrong. They're banking on you being too trusting to push back. Type 2, deflection. You sit down to have a real conversation about something they did. And somehow within 60 seconds you're the one apologizing. Why do you always bring up the past? Everything is always my fault with you, isn't it? I can't believe you'd accuse me of this after everything I've done for you. They don't defend themselves. They attack. And it's effective because your brain switches from confronting them to defending yourself, and the original issue never gets touched. Type 3, minimizing, shrinking what you feel. This one is sneaky because it sounds almost reasonable. You express a feeling hurt, scared, angry, and they say, "You're so sensitive. It was just a joke." Why do you always have to make everything such a big deal? Over time, you stop expressing yourself. You start pre-editing your own emotions before you even speak. You catch yourself thinking, maybe I am overreacting. You're not. They just taught you to believe you are. I want to pause here for a second because something I keep hearing from people who've been through this is a specific habit they develop without realizing it. They start screenshotting conversations. Not because they're paranoid, but because their memory has been questioned so many times they need proof. Not for the other person. For themselves. If you've ever done that, saved a text, screenshot an email, written down what was said in a conversation just so you could go back and confirm it was real. That's not a personality quirk. That's a symptom. And it's worth taking seriously. Okay, let's keep going. Type 4, diverting the topic that never gets resolved. You bring up a problem, and they immediately steer somewhere else. Why are we even talking about this? Didn't you mess up last week? I'm not doing this with you right now. You always want to fight. Nothing ever gets resolved. Every conversation that starts with a real issue ends with you chasing a detour. After enough time, you stop bringing things up at all. Which is exactly the goal. Type 5, the reality rewrite. Type 4 was about dodging conversations. This one goes deeper, it rewrites them after the fact. Promises they made. Conversations you had. Agreements you reached together completely erased. I never said that. We never had that conversation. I have no idea what you're talking about. The difference is subtle but important. A diverter changes the subject in the moment. A reality rewriter goes back and edits history. And the truly disorienting part is that they say it so casually. Like the memory you're holding doesn't exist. This is why people start keeping records. Journals. Dated notes. Not to build a case, just to hold on to their own sanity. Type 6, using other people as weapons. This one is designed to make you feel completely alone. Everyone I've talked to agrees with me. Your own friends think you're being unreasonable. Even your mom said she's worried about you. Sometimes those people said nothing of the sort. The names are dropped to isolate you, to make it feel like the whole world sees something wrong with you, and only you can't see it. It's not the world. It's one person. With a strategy. Type 7, institutional gaslighting, the system that denies you. Here's the type nobody talks about enough. And honestly, it might be the most damaging of all. Because gaslighting doesn't only happen in relationships. It happens in institutions. In systems. In organizations with power over your life. A woman reports workplace harassment. HR investigates and comes back with, "We found no evidence to support your claim." Are you sure you interpreted the situation correctly? A black patient tells a doctor they're in serious pain. The doctor says, "Your levels look fine. It might just be stress," and sends them home. A child tells a school counselor that something is wrong at home. The counselor calls the parents first. This is institutional gaslighting. And what makes it so dangerous is that it doesn't just make you doubt yourself, it makes you doubt whether anyone will ever believe you. It weaponizes authority. It uses the weight of the system to flatten your experience. And it affects marginalized communities at a completely different scale than individual gaslighting ever could. If you've ever been dismissed by a doctor, an HR department, a school, a court, and walked away thinking maybe I was wrong even though your gut said otherwise. You weren't wrong. You were gaslit by something bigger than one person. How do you know it's happening to you? Here's a quick gut check. Not a diagnosis, just something to sit with. You notice you've started apologizing before you even know what you did wrong. You feel foggy after conversations with this one person but fine everywhere else. You've stopped sharing how you really feel because it's easier than defending it. You keep records, journals, dated notes not to prove anything to them, but just to confirm things were real. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you feel like you used to trust yourself more than you do now. None of that is a character flaw. All of it is a signal. Remember that guy in the 1944 movie Dimming the Lights, telling his wife she was imagining it? His whole operation depended on one thing, that she would never name what he was doing. The moment something has a name, it changes. It goes from a fog you're lost into a pattern you can see from the outside. That's what you have now. A name. And I want to be honest with you, naming it doesn't fix it overnight. It doesn't undo the confusion or make the conversations easier. But it does something quietly powerful. It puts you back in the room. You stop questioning whether you're the problem and you start asking better questions. That screenshot habit we talked about? That wasn't paranoia. That was you protecting your own mind when someone was trying to take it from you. That's not weakness. That's survival. So let me leave you with the same thing I started with because it's worth hearing again. That's not you going crazy. That's someone who needed you to think you were. Now you know the difference. And that changes everything. If something in this video hit close to home even a little, drop a comment below. You don't have to share details. Just yes, or I needed this, or even just a period. I read them. If you want more videos on dark psychology, manipulation tactics, and how to actually protect yourself, subscribe and hit the bell. I put out new videos every week. And if you know someone who needs to see this, send it to them. Sometimes the most helpful thing is just knowing there's a name for what happened. I'll see you in the next one.